Oh yeah, she's in a good mood.
She's in a good. Nice. Let's get some music going.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. Is the volume good? Can you hear the music and us talking?
I can.
All right, so here we go then. We're going to switch it over. Get rid of the music. Greetings, citizens of the internet. I'm Static Buzz, and this is the Gaming Watch Weekly Show number 21 for November 24th, 2019. Things we have on tap is there's a new Half-Life game. Star Citizen has a free fly event. Monster Hunter World Iceborne patch information. Resident Evil 3 remake. Some Pokemon Sword and Shield sales numbers. Amazon's going to announce its gaming stream service. Borderlands 3's first raid. Also, some more DLC coming out for Borderlands 3. Code Vein's DLC information. Diablo 3 endgame progression information. All coming up. So, with me, as usual, is Oz. How you doing over there, Oz?
Doing pretty good. Got back from a business trip, and hopefully this week's show goes a little bit better than last, where we had some audio issues. So
audio issues? It would be audio issues if we had audio, but we didn't have audio, so
yes,
I don't think. I think that's just the absence of audio. So, yeah, we need to. We're going to be better at testing and everything, so that we don't have those kind of shortcomings for our videos and whatnot. So, all right, let's dive in. We're doing it a little early this week. Oz has some things to do for Thanksgiving, which we all do. So if we don't talk to you until then, you guys, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving and all that good stuff.
Yes,
so, first news story is there's a new Half-Life game coming, and it's not what you would expect. On November 21st, Valve released a video on their YouTube channel announcing the next Half-Life game. Half-Life Alyx is a first-person VR experience game and is due out in March 2020. There appears to be some mixed responses on this announcement. Some are happy to get a VR game in the Half-Life world, and others wanted a more traditional game in the Half-Life world. I actually kind of wanted both. I haven't had a chance to talk to you on this. So, you have any feelings on this at all?
So the VR side of it's really interesting, but I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, we've had this VR talk before, where it's like all the VR games are really short and they lack depth and story. So I'm kind of glad it's following the Half-Life. Or it'll be Half-Life. I'm just hoping it has story.
Did you watch the video by chance?
A little bit of it before I got sidetracked with other stuff.
Oh,
so I was like, that looks kind of good.
That's life, right? Yeah, it does look good. That's kind of like the conundrum here. Well, it's not the Half-Life game that everybody was asking for, but it looks kind of like it would be a cool VR experience.
Indeed.
So,
and that's where maybe they'll start to fill in that that depth and length and all of that issue when it comes to VR, because that's been my main complaint is like, oh, I just downloaded it, played it, and I'm done. Damn. Time to uninstall it. So
yeah, it's almost more hassle to get into a game and get it going than to actually play the game for the, because you're messing with getting the headset on and all the cables in the space and downloading the game and all this stuff, and then you get into it and you don't spend but a half hour, 45 minutes in it, and it's like, well, I spent that long getting everything set up. It's like,
indeed, yeah.
I it's like I don't like driving to a place and spending an hour there if it takes me 45 minutes to get there and 45 minutes to get back, because I'm spending more time driving. So I don't really like those kind of things unless I have to be there. It's the same thing with this kind of thing. I also think that because they haven't announced that it's going to be coming out on PSVR at all, they announced a lot of different PC VR things, and even a Microsoft thing that I I'd have to look it up to see what it was, but it wasn't their HoloLens. It was Microsoft something. I was like, what? What is that? I don't even know. But they didn't announce PlayStation VR, which would be probably the largest market they would sell this on. Why? I don't know. Maybe because of the hand things they're going to be using, and it's not compatible with PlayStation. Yeah, it's really hard to say.
It is.
Did look cool though. I mean, first-person VR inside the Half-Life world, and so they script it right. It could be good.
Yes, and that's just the biggest thing is, can they pull it off? It's a little bit of a gamble to be taking that IP into the VR realm. So, I hope they do well with it, just because we need something in VR, that has some depth to it to draw in the others and, make it worth purchasing that that system that goes with your PC and whatnot. So.
Yeah, I agree. And, one of the things I mentioned, like they talked about a lot of the different VR headsets that they're coming out on. One of the ones from Valve is getting it free, and I don't remember which one it is.
HT, is that the HT? Shoot. What is Steam's VR? I can't remember.
It's, I don't remember what it is, but whatever one that is, it's going to get it free when it comes out. So,
Oculus, right?
No, Oculus
is it the Vive? Or is it
the Vive, but it was a particular version of the Vive.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it would be interesting if those people actually get it and play it more than anybody else does.
Well, it's like I've had that thing in my Steam wish list forever, but nothing substantial has come to warrant me spending that type of money to get VR. So
yeah, indeed.
It's like, okay, whatever.
and getting one game for free probably isn't going to do it.
No, it has to have quite a bit behind it. So
speaking of free things, you want to roll into the next article?
So Star Citizen's latest free fly event will let you fly every ship in the game. So we've talked about Star Citizen before. It's an ambitious multiplayer interstellar flight simulator. It is the free fly event actually started today and goes through the 5th of December. It opens the doors to what they have going on now. And it looks like you're going to get pretty much everything that is up to this point in the game. So all the ships, the world, space station, all that stuff is going to be available at this point. So
that's a pretty good chunk of time, too. Usually you only do it over a weekend, but they're giving you quite a bit of time there.
Well, I think you have to if you're going to let people fly every shipping game for free and do everything, because, they need to pull people back in. It's, people have been a little disheartened that it's taken this long. And when they did get to play some of the events in game, it's been like, wow, this still feels really underpolished and unfinished. So hopefully at this point they can get more going with it and draw more people in, because I'm excited for it. It's,
if they pull off their ambition or anywhere close to their ambition, it's going to be one heck of a game. I've already got a ship. I'm already good to go. I'm just kind of waiting to see how everything pans out before I jump in and
True, me too.
Decide what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I haven't played it at all. I mean, I pre-purchased like you did and all that because I was excited, but I don't know. This is one of the games I'm just not really eager to get in there and form this negative thing on playing it early. Kind of like what we did with what is it, Ghost Recon? We got in there, played it, and I was like, this is bad. I'm not even
Breakpoint. Yeah, there was some things wrong with the game in beta, and then the release was right around the corner, so you knew they weren't gonna have time to fix everything. So
and so at this point, I'm like, I'm not gonna ruin Star Citizen for myself, because it's one of those, when Star Wars Galaxies shut down, there's been that void of a space type of thing missing in my my MMO repertoire or whatever it is. I need.
Yeah.
So hopefully this works. Hopefully.
I'm hopeful. I have played the early beta, and at least back when I played it, the flight mechanics were solid. They didn't have the first person sections in at the time. They were talking about it, so I haven't played the first person shooting part of it, but that part should be pretty easy to get up and running. Everybody knows how to do a first person shooter and whatnot. So I noticed that our YouTube chat is going crazy. So let me just say that the reason why we're streaming again on YouTube is we figured out that on Restream, if you pay for the upgrade, you get more bandwidth. So we are now going to be able to stream on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Mixer all at the same time. So we were going to start streaming on all of them at the same time. But on the Gaming Watch Weekly, we pretty much just give you guys the news. We don't really react to the chat because there's just not time for that, and it would interrupt the flow of the show for the most part. So hope you guys can forgive us for that and understand. And I'm going to roll into the next story, which is Monster Hunter World Iceborne patch to add new monster for you to hunt. So on December 5th, Monster Hunter World Iceborne will be getting the Stygian Zinogre. I don't know if I'm saying that right at all. And as with all the huntable monsters like this, the big ones, there's going to be new armor sets and weapons coming along with it. So there's also going to be a new region called the Guiding Lands for you to explore. And that's going to be, supposedly, it's going to be a frozen tundra, even though I haven't seen any video or anything on that. That's kind of what I've been reading. The Stygian Zinogre is described with the following. The Stygian Zinogre has a symbiotic kind of relationship with the Dracophage bugs, which it can launch like bullets. The monster becomes even more dangerous when it is covered in light. So what it looked like to me was it would be the bugs would kind of go onto it, and it would gather them up as the fight would go on, and then it would unleash them as like almost like bullets towards the hunters. So
yeah,
it should be.
So I don't know.
Yeah, you need to. Well, I don't know. At this point, if you got into it, it's kind of late in the game, but still a great game. A great game.
Well, I mean, I heard on PC everything's about 6 months behind, so where it is on. So I'm like, okay, but again, that's another game to dive into that I'm just like, all right, I got entirely too much on my plate at this time. So
yeah, I did some streaming with that with other streamers and whatnot. So we had like 4 or 5 people. They were actually streaming on their channels all at once while we were all doing it together. It was pretty cool. We were all in the same Discord channel and all that good stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So
heard good things about it. It's just one I haven't decided to dive into yet.
It's a time sink, so if you do it, expect to spend 100 hours. So. Yeah,
well, we know I can spend lots of hours in games. So.
Indeed. All right, so you want to go on the Resident Evil 3 remake news?
Sure. So it sounds like a Resident Evil remake in development. With the success of the Resident Evil 2 remake, Capcom is hopefully going to capitalize on yet another remake. So I don't know. I haven't played Resident Evil probably since 3 or 4, so them redoing the ones that I have played is good. Just because, I don't know, for a while there they were releasing them and so rapidly, it was like there was so much more stuff, or other games I'd rather play, like Assassin's Creed or whatever, than to get back into Resident Evil. But, to update 3 to modern graphics would be nice.
I didn't really play the early ones. I'm trying to remember which one 3 was.
I jumped right in at the first one. So
I think I played the first one, but I missed the second and third one, and then I got to the one that everybody called racist because it was in Africa or whatever. And
oh yeah, that one was bad too. Yeah, that one was. I didn't enjoy. I think that one was 4. I can't remember, but I didn't enjoy that one at all.
That one was okay. The controls were really hard, and the only reason that it was okay was because I was playing it along with a friend, so it made it more enjoyable. But I do have Resident Evil 7. What's the most recent one?
7 or 8, I think. I don't know.
I think it's 7. Whatever that one is. I have that one and I haven't loaded it yet. I've been like, well, I have it. I got it on sale like in the bargain bin, and I was like, that's a good game. I should grab it, and it's just like sitting there. Kind of like Days Gone. It's just sitting there.
Yeah, like I have Days Gone like installed and on the PlayStation to play, but every time I'm like, I really want to play that. It's like, oh, by the way, Red Dead Redemption's on PC. It's like, oh, I want to go play that more. So it's like, or Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order just released. It's like, oh, I want to play that even more. So it's like, when am I going to get around to doing all this stuff? I don't know.
It's time. It's all about time. And I have the next week off. I think
so do I.
So there might be something going on over the next week that we can, maybe get into these, but I don't know.
I'm hoping we can really get some streams going this week. Play something.
Where are you at in Borderlands 3? Have you finished that campaign yet?
I've been playing more Jedi Fallen Order.
All right.
So that would be fun to get in there and just stream the hell out of, just to get caught up or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We can figure something out. We definitely can figure something out. So another game that I've been playing is Pokemon Sword and Shield, and they released their sales number over the first week. And I guess in the U.S., it sold over 2 million copies in the first 2 days. And over the first weekend of sales, it sold over 6 million overall. So
of course it did.
That's a lot of copies. But I have been playing it, and it's a very enjoyable Pokemon game. I did the last 3 different iterations of Pokemon, and this one's probably the cleanest that I've seen up to this point. So, not everything is great, but everything is good. So,
yeah, I don't. Again, that's.
You don't
another IP I haven't touched. I really don't know a lot about it, so I'm like...
You don't have a Switch, so yeah, you're really kind of...
Well, even... I don't think I've really ever touched any Pokemon game. It's just been something that was never in my wheelhouse, I'm always more into the more violent video games. I don't know why. But it's just... It is.
So it's a release valve.
yeah, pretty much. We live in Phoenix, so I traffic's bad, so you need that release,
Yeah, indeed. So I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I've also been messing around with the Google Stadia, trying to see how their streaming service works and all that stuff. So
mine's on its way, apparently, or hasn't shipped yet. I checked, but it should be here this week. At some point.
Make sure you follow up on that, because I had a lot of weird stuff going on with my shipping. Like, said it was going to show up on the 19th, and it said it was delivered. So then I looked at the actual shipping from the shipping company, and it did say it was shipped to the door. And I'm like, well, and it requires a signature, but nobody was home.
Mm-hmm.
So how did he get a signature? And then they're like, oh, well, no, it's still on the truck. And I was like, okay, so we'll get it to you tomorrow. I was like, okay. So I was teleworking the next day, and I was like, all right. So I'm watching it, and it says out for delivery, and then it says delivered, and I'm like, no, I'm here. So I call them back up, and like, oh, well, all right, well, let's set it up for you to come pick it up, because it was only up the street, the place for it. So I was like, okay, that's no problem. I can go up the street and get it. And they said, all right, we're going to do that. Well, then I looked after they said they were going to do that, and it said it was out for delivery again. And I was like, what the heck? So I called them back up, and they're like, yeah, it went out for delivery. And then I discovered that the actual address was off by, like, instead of 50, it was 45. And so they couldn't get it, even though it's an apartment complex, and that would cover the 45. They couldn't get it here because it wasn't the exact address. So I was like, okay, well, what do we do here? And they're like, oh, well, we can either bring it in and change the address, or bring it in and you can pick it up on Monday. And I was like, okay. So then I got a call back a few minutes later, and they actually did pull it aside for pickup. So I was able to go down and get it and bring it back. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what a nightmare. So keep.
You got one job.
Well, I mean,
Deliver packages.
I couldn't imagine the logistical nightmare it is to figure out where all these packages are and making sure they get to everybody and all that stuff in a timely fashion. So I wasn't holding it against them. It was just kind of a cluster how it all.
Yeah,
rolled out.
I don't know. I don't know. It's when it comes to delivering packages, it's like, how can you screw this up? You know, it's one job. They don't even hand sort them anymore. They have.
Yeah, they
much,
scan them and then
everything is scanned and it's auto sorted. So it's like, come on, man. Unless the person inputs the address wrong, which is then that's your fault. So.
Yeah, but I was able to get it, do the unpacking video. So for the Google Stadia, I have been testing the streaming portion of it to see how that goes. Which leads me to the next story. You want to take off with the next one?
Sure. So it sounds like Amazon is going to get into the game streaming services next year. So this is basically rumors have surfaced earlier this year claiming Amazon was developing a game streaming service, but despite the launch of Stadia, Microsoft demonstrated xCloud, Amazon has yet to actually come out with it yet. But there were some job postings that people have been following that make it you think that they are working on some sort of game service, so I just thought it was interesting that everybody seems to be getting into this now. It's not just 3 places to get your games. Now you're gonna have like 18.
I don't know if you've noticed, but like a year ago, they had a bunch of games that if you had Amazon Prime, you could go in and sign up and get them for free that they were developing with in-house developers or whatnot. And I think that was kind of leading towards this. Like, you want to have first-party games when you launch it that, hey, they're exclusive to this platform. That'll bring them in. Otherwise, people aren't going to come in like, I already got Stadia, I already got xCloud, I got PlayStation Now, whatever. I'm not going over there. Or I'm just not streaming at all because I'm not moving ahead in technology. But, it's kind of hard to say how an Amazon streaming service will go. But they got the money, just like Google, to throw at it. So,
yeah, if it fails, they'll just keep throwing money at it to prop it up until it becomes profitable. It's one of those things. I don't know. It seems like everybody's trying to get into the gaming market because it is so profitable. So I just thought that was weird news to see Amazon scrolling across the news sites that I peruse. I'm like, really? Like, why? Stick with what you're good at.
Yeah. Well, and you
stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Well, you also got to think that they don't have the infrastructure that these other Google and Microsoft have, right? So they're going to have to. Where are they going to put their servers? What service are they going to pay for? Amazon? They're going to use their AWS, right? So, is that really set up for a bunch of people to be going in and streaming games on? I mean, it's.
Oh yeah.
It's not built for that, though. It's not.
Yeah, it is. They have the infrastructure to do it, and they have it all in their data centers all over the U.S.
But what resolution are your servers and what being displayed to you? Because I can almost guarantee you 4K is not something they've thought of it to this point. And if the other providers provide it,
maybe not, but I'm sure it's definitely something that could easily be remedied. I mean, this is Amazon. They have plenty of money to throw at this and make it, comparable to the competitors. I'm not.
They're going to need more data centers. They're going to need a lot more infrastructure, in my opinion.
Dude, they're in almost every major data center in the United States. I mean, the only. And possibly world with their AWS. So,
but their regions aren't great. I mean, I have to deal with it. I know their regions aren't great.
Well,
that's why we're in Oregon right now instead of LA. So,
well, LA sucks, but
no comment. I'm not touching that one.
But it's pretty easy to fix.
I don't know. I just don't think that the graphical fidelity is there on what they provide. Not saying they can't get there. I'm just thinking that if they're just thinking, oh, we're just going to turn on some servers and good to go, No, because
Well, this is
gamers
still
are
early
very,
in
very, very
development,
picky,
so.
and response time, even on the server stuff, because I work with them every day, is not great, man. It's not. It's
But
functional, but if
with
I'm worried
AWS,
about that FPS type response time, it's not there at all.
well,
Not
with
close. Go
well,
ahead.
with AWS, it's all on the bandwidth you're paying to and from. So if you're paying for a freeway worth of traffic to and from, you're going to get really good response time. If you're paying for, the country road, one lane going each way, you're going to get shit response. So I mean, I'm just saying,
We got good lanes where I'm at, and I'm telling you,
Well, when I
it's
was
not
there, when I
great.
was at ADOT, they didn't have good lanes, so that was the pain. So my thing is like they didn't want to pay for the wider lanes, so it's like okay, but that's on you guys. It's not on our problem on the server team. It's your guys because you don't want to pay for the bandwidth to and from.
Yeah,
So
we went through that when we were migrating everything up, and that's one of the things we did. We got a dedicated tunnel going straight there and all that good stuff. And the bandwidth is pretty good, but we had to move a lot of services back on prem because there just was too much of a delay in them getting data for like databases and stuff. And I'm just saying, you're pushing data with video games too, so.
yeah, but it's not database type of stuff. I mean, it's again, there's a lot of read write or a lot of traffic, but I don't know. I'm just if Google Stadia does well, I don't see why these guys couldn't do it either. Like I said, I bought into the Stadia thing, but I'm still skeptical just because it's like, is this really gonna turn out to be good? I don't know. And with the limited games they have, it's like, all right, this hopefully turns into a decent investment. If not, it's like, okay, it'll sit on the shelf and look pretty in the background.
Do you get Destiny 2 with your package that you bought?
I have Destiny 2 through.
Well, but I'm saying with the Google.
Oh, I don't know. I think so.
All right, because maybe we can both test that together and.
Sure, I guess I can go at it again. Like I said, I just not a fan of that game. I don't know. I guess it's because I didn't have a lot to play with when I got into it. So
when you're running solo, it's not great. Trust me, I get that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, so we beat that dead horse. We're gonna have to wait and see how Amazon releases their streaming service and how good it is. Just like we're still testing Google's. So, Borderlands 3's first raid has been released, and it's called Takedown at Maliwan. I haven't done it myself, but I've heard that you can't do it solo. It's max level.
All right.
I looked at it. It's definitely max level. And, so anyways, this is what they say about it. This may be the toughest mission you've faced yet, Vault Hunter. Takedown at Maliwan Black Site is now part of Borderlands 3. Giving dedicated players a chance to test their mettle with some serious challenging endgame content featuring Maliwan foes. In case you missed the Borderlands show's initial reveal and hands-on discussion, takedowns are a free addition to Borderlands 3 that, unlike the limited time season events such as Bloody Harvest, are here to stay. As the first Borderlands 3 challenge of its kind, Takedown at Maliwan Black Site is designed for intense difficulty and coveted rewards, all tuned for co-op partners of 4 max-level Vault Hunters. Of course, this is me, this is not them, that was the quote, this is me. Of course, more difficult enemies means better loot, so the risk comes with the rewards.
Yes.
I can't wait to run this. Those are my notes. I'm looking forward to running this, but not solo.
Like it. No, and that's all the more reason to, I guess, drag me across that line and be like, all right, you're finally max level. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Because it's been like, it's been a rough gaming season just because so much stuff has come out in such sequential order and it's so rapidly. You're just like, I'm just finishing. Or not even finished with this, and now I got to do this.
Yeah,
damn it! And it's like, Gotta finish
Yes,
Borderlands.
we'll get you there.
Gotta,
We'll get you there.
Gotta finish Star Wars. Gotta finish, and gotta then touch all these other games. Oh, and at some point, finish my first playthrough of God of War. It's like there's not enough time.
There's not enough
There's
time.
not enough time.
But
to do this.
you say this is a slow season for game releases, so you might have time. You might have time.
Well, it's pretty much dead now. Pretty much, I haven't seen anything. Now there's some like off or small game release, but they're not AAA or anything that it's like, oh my god, I gotta play that. It's like I could wait for that to hit the sale bin, you know. And,
Black Friday sales.
Yeah.
So that's not the only Borderlands 3 news, though. So what is the other Borderlands 3 news that they talked about?
It looks like, what is this? Moxie, is that what it is?
Yeah, Moxie.
Moxie's heist of Handsome Jack's casino for Borderlands 3, Borderlands 3's first expansion. So we're finally going to see our first expansion. The campaign expansion for Borderlands 3 is Moxie's heist of Handsome Jackpot. So the plot, I guess, takes us to. It looks like we're going to rob a casino. So
I was watching this on the Borderlands show, which is hosted by Greg Miller, and Fran Mirabella was there, and they had why am I drawing a blank? Randy Pitchford on, and they were talking about this. So basically, Handsome Jack and Moxie were married at one time.
Vaguely, I think. I mean,
they were married at one time.
Yeah.
There was a side story that went over it. I think in 1 or 2, I can't remember. But so they were married. But while they were married, Moxie had this idea for a casino, and Jack took that idea and made the casino. So she's mad because he stole her idea, and now she wants to go steal it back. That's the gist of all of it.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it's a raid. From what it says, it is a raid style challenge. So it's going to take, looks like 4 players to do the takedown on it. So it looks like they're trying to steal a little bit from Destiny, do a raid style challenge, which is cool. I mean, again, it's new challenges, enemies, trinkets, skins.
I don't believe the whole area is a raid area.
I think just to go into vault.
Oh no, this goes into talking about Malawan. That's the one I already did. So yeah.
Okay.
So the other area it's just an area that is all casino area, and you can go in at level 1. Well, 13 it says you have to be 13.
Oh yeah.
And then anybody else that wants to go in that's higher than that can go in. But yeah, it looked really cool. I mean, it looked like a really futuristic, neon lit up casino area. So it should be pretty fun.
I think it'd be good. That's something we should try.
Yeah, we got to get you to max level first so we can do the Malawan takedown. I think this comes out December something though. Did it give a date?
The Handsome.
I think it was December 18th. Don't quote me on that, but 19th. It's on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So we got some time. Got some time to grind. All right. So anything else you wanted to say about that, or?
No, I can't think of anything else.
So
it's just I got to get across that finish line so we can do stuff. So.
We do. So some of the other things they talked about on the Borderlands show, and hopefully I get all this right because I'm going from memory, was they moved all loot to specific bosses, like legendary loot or rare guys or whatever. So specific people will drop specific items like they used to do in Borderlands 2. So if you want to grind for something, you can go kill a boss or whatnot to get that. And it might not be tied to one boss, but you at least know that, okay, if I go fight this guy, he will eventually drop this shield that I'm trying to get so you can work on a build. Yes. That was one of the things. The other thing is they're going to be adding more vending machines because they know how we are ADHD about picking up all the items and selling all the items. So they're going to be doing that. They're going to be increasing the bank stash because I guess people have ran out of space with saving all their legendaries. I think it's 50 right now, and they're going to up it to 300, so 6 times what they got now.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
so to be good. But
I wish they would have done that in the Division.
I know. You'll have to pay for the upgrades, just like you've been, on the SDU.
Yeah.
You'll have to do all that. No telling how much that'll cost, but everybody's got disposable income at this point in that game, so It should be good. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, but those are the things off the top of my head that I know that they're adding. All right, so on to the next story, which is about some more DLC. Code Vein Season Pass DLC. And just to clarify, the Moxie heist, you can get that separate, but if you bought the Season Pass or whatever they're calling it, it'll be included in that, which I think we both bought the Deluxe Edition, right? So I think we would get it with that. I bought the Deluxe Edition.
Yes, so did I.
So we'll get it with that. So anyways, under the Code Vein DLC, it gets a date. Well, sort of. So on November 22nd, Bandai Namco tweeted the following: from early 2020, paid DLC 1 up to paid DLC 3 will be distributed one after another. You can enjoy new character builds such as battles with new strong enemies and weapons, blood codes, smelted blood, and custom parts. In addition, custom buddy appeared. Stay tuned for more information. Now, that is translated from Japanese, so it's not a one-to-one. So
It's a hard language to convert over to English.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think they mean custom buddy appearances, but not appeared. Like more custom buddies appeared. I guess they could add more because there's companions in that game, and they run around with you. So I guess they could add more companions, but it makes more sense that they're adding more costumes to the companions. But I don't think that's a game you've played. I've played a little bit of it.
No, see, like I said, I'm more AAA. I play a lot of the mainstream stuff. You get into all of the side
What are you
stuff.
saying? That's not AAA? Come on, man. It's Code Vein, man. Bandai Namco.
Okay.
It's probably AA, to be honest with you. It's a good game. It's a solid game. Like it's a Souls-like, Dark Souls-like.
Yeah.
Anime flavor for the graphics. So it's definitely right up my alley. I played it for like 2 weeks off and on, and other things get in the way. You know how that comes with the territory.
You like those JRPGs, so.
I do. Don't hate me. Don't hate me.
I'm not. Hey, I'm just saying that's just something that it's like, I'll look at it and it's like, that's really pretty graphics. But then I watch the gameplay and I'm like, you still haven't sold me on the gameplay. But it's really pretty to watch.
It's really pretty to watch. It's all right. You keep watching, I'll keep playing. It's all good. So, on to a game that we both are probably going to enjoy. You want to?
Yes. So, Diablo 4's endgame progression is still undecided. So, as we all know, Diablo 4 was announced at BlizzCon, which I attended this year, and basically, it sounds like Blizzard is looking for feedback from the actual diehard community. In this article, they actually did leave a link to contact Blizzard and tell them what you think, but basically, they want it to feel better than what it did in Diablo 3. They definitely feel like they fell short on that. There's certain things that are being replaced, so like the rifts are being replaced with actually dungeons dotted throughout the landscape, and
there was a lot of them. I think they said like they had 100 up and running already or something like that. That's a lot.
Yeah. So basically, it's I'm hopeful for it. Like I said, I enjoyed 3, but there is definitely some areas that they can definitely improve on, and I think since they're getting back to that darker Diablo, they're going back to some of the classic classes. I think you're gonna see it play out pretty well. Now I'm hoping they keep some of the classes from 3. I enjoyed the Demon Hunter. I mean, that was the first class I played, and little did I know when I read it that was the worst class to start playing off with. But I don't read that stuff when I start playing games. I'm like, I just want to play that.
Why was it the worst? That's the one I started with. I played.
They just said it was the hardest to get through starting out, like when you just out of the box, freshly installed, picking Demon Hunter was the hardest one to do.
Oh, bunch of wimps. I had no problem.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was like, I was watching like my brother and his roommate, a couple other friends. They were just flying through, and I'm like, I'm having a hell of a time downing these guys. And it's just they don't have their abilities aren't as strong as like the Witch Doctor. I mean, the Witch Doctor just steamrolled everything, And when I actually played that as the second time I rolled through, I was like, Jesus, this was way easier, way easier. So,
well, I mean, the game came out and it had problems from the get-go anyways with the auction house and all that stuff. So,
well, that's not well. The real money auction house is dead permanently, so that's good. That
right. I'm just saying, if you're taking everything in context, there was a lot of things that had to happen for that game to get to where it's at now. But
all games have that.
Yeah, and I say now the Demon Hunter is probably one of the easier ones to start off.
Oh, now that it's been buffed and rebuffed, and Necro's really easy to get through on, So, I don't know. I still think the Witch Doctor's probably one of the easiest, at least for me, the way I play the Witch Doctor. So,
well,
but
you know what? It's early now, but season 19 just started, and they're saying that there's a new build for the Crusader that tops all builds.
I read that,
and surprising.
I saw some gameplay on it. It looks badass, and I mean, I enjoyed the Crusader as well. So, curious to see like why they felt the need to buff that class. I mean, it was already doing well.
They didn't really buff it. They created a new armor set for it, which they're doing for all classes.
Okay.
And I think they released that one and one other. I think though. No, maybe they didn't release another armor set, but they did release some stuff for the Barbarian, so that Whirlwind Rend is now a highly functional build, which it wasn't before.
Good. No.
So basically, you're whirlwinding the whole time and rending while you're doing it, so it's just like perpetual feeding itself or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy one to play. So. I definitely think that this is something to keep our eye on, and I agree with chat. The mobile is not it's not what they should have done, but it's neither here nor there. I was there last year when they announced that, and you could hear the disappointment when it happened. I mean,
still gonna play Immortal when it comes out. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna check it out.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you are too.
Play it. Yeah, and I played it there at BlizzCon. I'm just saying it doesn't feel right.
It wasn't what everybody wanted, is what it was.
Well, yes, but turning such a great IP into a mobile game, it's like, okay, why?
Well, but we talked about this last week, even though we were muted.
Yeah,
Path of Exile announced Path of Exile 2, and then also said, hey, we're experimenting with a mobile version of Path of Exile, and everybody was excited about it. It all comes down to how it was presented, and that's where Blizzard failed.
Well, they failed because there was such a dry spell on the Diablo fans getting something. Then you're like, guess what? You're getting a mobile game, and everyone's like, really? You got them all excited because it was like something's gonna happen, and then it was like, oh, get a mobile game, and everyone was just like, is this a bad joke? I mean,
I know.
As you can see, they didn't even really talk much about it at BlizzCon. I mean, it got a little bit of coverage here and there, but that was about it.
They had, I think they had a panel for it or something. They had a discussion at least.
Like one panel. I mean,
I know,
it did
but
not
still.
get much airtime. Okay, it didn't get a lot of main stage time. That's all I'm going to say. It was like, okay.
Did it get any stage time? I don't know if it did.
It got panel time on a different stage.
Yeah, but not the main one.
Not Mythic.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think they said anything about it. I think they just totally skipped it. Like, the people that are excited for it will know about it. The people that aren't, we're not going to bring it back up.
I mean, they were far enough in production that they weren't going to just drop it. But I honestly don't think it's going to get the following. I mean, it's a PC game. Everybody wants it for our console now, but that was just bad for them.
I know. I think it comes down to how it was presented. If they would have came out with, hey, here's Diablo 4, we're coming out with this where it's really far off, but in the meantime, we're also going to release this mobile game that will get you tied over until Diablo 4 comes out. I think that would have been received a whole lot better.
But they weren't ready to release or confirm Diablo 4 yet because they didn't have much at that point.
They
last year.
didn't have much, but they had something.
They had a concept. But
They
I don't even think
they had more than a concept. They had.
I don't think they even had Lilith picked out as who was going to be like the overarching person.
They
When I
didn't
was
need
talking to
that
them,
though. All they needed
you
was
need
the
something.
logo and the barbarian smashing things in the new look, and they would have been good.
Nah, that's not enough to feed that long of neglect that they neglected the Diablo community.
You don't think?
Just going. Okay, here's the logo and here's a barbarian whirlwinding a few bad guys. That's not enough because what happens when they release something is all these questions, and then they start asking questions, and people are like, "Well, I can't talk about it. Can't talk about it."
I know.
You gotta at least be able to have somewhat of a conversation at these conventions when you release.
I'm still saying, even if they didn't have much, that would have been better than what happened last year.
True. I honestly would have been like, well, let's just not say anything and release this at an off convention. Not at BlizzCon, which is their main convention.
But that's only
Had they
because
released it at PAX or at E3, it would have done better. But when BlizzCon is their main convention for just their IPs, and you go, oh yeah, you guys are getting some love. Here, you have phones.
I don't know. I still think
no.
all the Blizzard fans are just, a lot of them are entitled. They think that they should get what they expect and what they want, and that's not how development works. That is not how development works.
But they just handled that poorly, and they learned.
And so did the fans. So did the fans.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying the fans are complete. I mean, Blizzard's got probably one of the most toxic communities out there when it comes to like World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
I don't know. Rocket League, I think's got them beat.
Well, I don't know. Rocket League,
and then League of Legends is even a step beyond that. Trust me.
I don't know, man. I still think Blizzard has some of the worst players when it comes to, like, I don't know, even like a new person coming into game. It's when you first log in and you start reading what's going on in the main city's chat, you're like, where the hell did these assholes come from? It's like, Jesus,
That's why I turn off general chat. But like, yeah, if you're a total noob, total noob, you don't know you can turn that off. So
no,
yeah, I'm with you.
And then it gets worse when you go to the Barons. That's if you play Classic. But I'm just saying, when I played it in Vanilla and I was in the Barons, you're like, oh my God, what the hell is this?
Yeah, there was no reporting back then either.
No, you just basically
ignored. You had to screenshot it and try to get a GM to come talk to you. That was like your best chance. And even then, it was like, nope, we don't have any policies for that kind of stuff. So
not yet.
It was the Wild Wild West, man.
Back then, it was. People weren't. I don't know. Like I said, certain games just bring out the troll in everybody. I mean, it was like that time you and I were in the Division 2, and we were just trying to pug that raid, and that guy was just full.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, man.
Imagine being in a combat situation, a real live combat situation with that a-hole, right?
Oh, yeah. He'd have gotten his own people would have killed him.
Yeah, that's the reason why the term frag came into play, was because of guys like that. And it would, or somebody would have just beat him up, put him, shut him up, and be like, okay, now you can shut your mouth. We just put you in your place. You either shut up and get in line, or we'll do something worse to you. It would not have been just him running his mouth like that. It would not have been.
No, but keyboard warriors, that anonymity of
I could just log out.
The internet.
Yeah,
yep.
I could just log out. Yeah. Anyways. All right, so that's enough of our rambling. That's all we have for news. Did you want to go over your Epic stuff? I didn't see that in here.
Sure. So this week for Epic is Bad North is available right now, which is now till the 29th, and then the 29th through December 6th is Rayman Legends. So you can pick that up for free if you feel so inclined to support Epic Games. I know some people will absolutely despise it, but you know.
Actually, I don't think you're supporting him. You're getting free stuff from him, right? As long as you don't
Well,
pay anything.
Well, I also don't mind paying, you know,
Yeah.
if it's a good deal. But I mean, most games on there. So I've only bought 2 games through Epic, which was Borderlands 3 and Outer Worlds. Which Outer Worlds is an amazing game. Just saying, if anyone is looking for just a fun game to play, like the whole corporation and the little man out there, and you're like just trying to help everybody out or be a big douchebag, depends. I kind of straddle right now. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to be a good guy or a bad guy, but you know,
You can go corporate and be that corporate man. Just do whatever you're
you
told.
know, so right now I'm kind of in the game. I'm kind of about the money aspect of things. I'm not, so it's kind of like whatever kind of benefits me, but I don't always help the corporation out. So there's that one mission where it's like that mother's like, "Oh, bring my son back," and I'm like, "Dude, you're going back one way or the other." And he's like, "No, I'm not." So I'm like, "Well, engage combat," you know. So I kill him, so I'm like, "I'm gonna take your ring back to your mom. Sorry for your loss. Give me my money."
Give my money, woman.
I tried. I even tried to intimidate him, and he was. I passed the intimidation check, but he was still not having it. So
Wait, you passed the check and he still wasn't it? That's kind of weird.
yeah,
Usually
when
when you
intimidate, I exceeded because intimidation, I was like points of that. So
yeah, that's a good game. So, the reason why there's no game releases for this week is because there are no game releases for this week that are worth talking about.
well, I mean, we're pretty dry.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
up to the new year. So,
There might not be anything on that.
well, like I've told you time and time again, this is for the year. Moms and dads are now buying the games and whatnot for nothing. Yeah, nothing new is going to come out at this point.
No, I'm with you. It's normal.
So it's pretty much right after the new year, it's game on. Then you're looking at we're looking at Cyberpunk. We're looking at
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, Watch Dogs, all that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
there's a lot coming out. But what we need to work on is coming up with our criteria. Because this is, if you guys aren't aware, this is like a whole new channel. We started, like 4 months ago?
Yeah, I was reading in your chat, somebody wasn't happy you rebranded your channel.
Well, that's just, that's what I wanted to do from the start. That's what happens, right?
And, yep.
So we need to come up with criteria for our Game of the Year awards and whatnot. I don't even know what that will mean to anybody if they get one. But so we're going to be working on that probably over the next month or so to figure out when and how to do that.
Yeah, we probably should do it next month.
Yeah, that's what I'm
later.
thinking.
Yeah, because we got to do another roundtable too. Because I skipped November's just because of other stuff, working on proficiency, stuff like that.
Technically, wasn't the last one early November though?
I'd have to look at our old channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna migrate that stuff over. It's gonna be some work, but I'm gonna migrate that stuff over, and then we can kill that channel. I want to get our new stuff and then our roundtable over so that we can have that all in our archives. So.
Yeah, and I apologize to people who didn't like us rebranding this channel. The decision was made that this is what we were going to do, and I supported it early on, but we really wanted to try off a new channel, and it just wasn't getting traction.
And also, I didn't know how to do it back then. I was able to figure it out over time, and that's kind of where we made the decision was, okay, we can do this if we want to do this, and then we moved ahead and went and did it because it made more sense. I mean, worst comes to worst, it doesn't work out, I rebrand it back and I roll with it the other way. I still have the Static Buzz name and all that stuff. Not a big deal, but I don't see us going back. I see us going forward, and we got plans for the channel, and it's going to be a lot of content coming at you because there's going to be multiple people working on it. It's not going to be just the one. No, and German might be back. I don't know. You got to figure that out. Yeah, he hasn't said anything, but we'll wait to see how that goes. I'm going to let that be his decision, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yep.
But
so, other than that, I want to work on maybe doing like a lure video, maybe trying it on the World of Warcraft side, and if maybe that gets traction, maybe doing other games that have really good lure that I find interesting, like, I don't know, Elder Scrolls. I like the history of Elder Scrolls and all that stuff. So there's more to come. It's just, time and work. Like, we both have outside jobs. So.
Yeah, and with anything like this, it's you try something, right? You gotta you try something. If it doesn't work, you try something else, or you give up. And I'm not one to give up. I don't want to give up on this. I want to move forward. I have aspirations of doing this full time as my job, and I think Oz does too. So some things have to be sacrificed, and if that means the Static Buzz channel rolls into the Gaming Watch, then that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do what is best for moving forward, and that's what when we make a decision, that's what we're trying to think of, what is best for us moving forward, and that's what we roll with. So
I agree.
So, and I agree with you, D&D over there. Yes, it's Mellow being mellow, but she has a right to be mellow because that's who she is. Yeah. So I appreciate her voicing her opinion, and I also respect her feelings, and I don't want to alienate any of that. So there's that too, and we just got a sub somewhere.
Yeah.
So, all right. Welcome to the watchers, whoever that was. I don't see it on my screen because I can't when this is going on, but. So this week, you're going to try to get your Star Wars stuff on the new channel and put some...
Yeah, I'm going to start tonight, and what you're probably going to see is just a bunch of them go live, because I'm just going to push them up, and then... Because they went live on the old channel, but it got such a small... We had such a small viewership that, like I said, now that Facebook's got traction, pretty good traction at that, we're getting ready to tip 100 over there. So, like I said, I think... with coming back over to the Static Buzz page and rebranding it, I think we're going to do... It's just a matter of, hitting the ground running, with this new year rolling around. It might be a little bumpy, but once we figure things out, I think
well,
all right.
I mean, I know where Mellow's coming from, because I'm that way with some of my musical artists that I listen to. It's like, those are mine, and they don't really have a really big following, and they're mine, and then when they break out, which is what you would expect from a good artist, you're kind of like, oh, they're not just mine anymore. I got to share them with everybody, all these people. And, I understand that. And, we're going to try to be as personable as we can and be us, because that's what brought you here. That's not going to change. So it's just going to be more of us. There's going to be multiple people, so more content and all that stuff. I'm personally going to work on I got Death Stranding up to where actually one video past what I had on the other channel. I've edited a lot of videos for Death Stranding, so those are going to be coming out 1 or 2 a day for the next so many days, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to be working on whatever's next after that, which I haven't really decided. We've got to talk about the Kappa stuff, Oz and I, and figure out how we want to handle that, which we're not going to do here, because who knows where that conversation is going to go, and we might get a little...
And that's one of those things, because it's like if we decide to stay one way, Oz has to dial it back a little bit, and
So, I don't even think it's about that, because I've been reading up on it and watching. It's not about you scaling back. It's about what kind of content is our channel going to have, and that kind of thing, more than scaling it back. And I don't want to have kid-centric content, because they take away all your advertisement for that. So we might have to stay 13 and above and make sure that everything's 13 and above. That's what we're going to have to talk about. So,
well, from my understanding, it's also the style of game. If the game has gore and stuff like that, then it's like we got to change our rating system, so to speak.
I've already tagged the channel to not be kid friendly, which means that it's meant for 13 and older. So
I'm okay with that then.
we just have to make sure that the videos we do don't cater to them. So I don't know if that means we do everything. All of our games got to be teen rating and higher.
No.
Or not, but, well, I mean, because if you tag it as not kid-friendly and then you have Pokemon, which is why I haven't moved the Pokemon video over, then Pokemon's a kid-friendly thing, and if you mark it as otherwise and kids come in and watch it, then you could be in trouble. So that's what I'm saying. It's a deep conversation we need to have. Yeah. And what is happening here? All right. So, Dominica, what is happening here is I rebranded the channel to the Gaming Watch, which is a project that Oz and I have taken on, and we started another channel. It wasn't getting traction over there, and I didn't know how to rebrand my current channel, which is what I wanted to initially do. Yeah. So now that I figured out how to rebrand it, we've rebranded it, and now we're the Gaming Watch, still static, but now we've got Oz and anybody else we decide to bring in on what we're doing. So you'll have more options for people that you can watch and enjoy, and maybe we'll even come up with a Team Static and a Team Oz shirt that people can get eventually and stuff like that. It'd be fun.
We're not doing this Twilight thing. No.
Come on, man. We gotta do it. It'd be great. It'd be awesome.
Well, I would lose only due to the fact that we came over and you already had 600 some.
Well, but we're not talking about now. We're talking about when we get to 2,000, 3,000, whatever we get to, then we'll do it. When we got a following that wants to get swag with our logo on it, then we'll do it.
That's another topic we got to talk about at some point.
Oh, we got lots of things to talk about.
Yeah.
So all right, so yeah, like we said, Oz is going to be putting out his Star Wars videos. I'm going to be putting out my Death Stranding. We're going to figure out what's coming up after that. We're going to try to work on a gaming award type show for the channel to see what we want to do there and how we're going to format it, when and how and all that good stuff. So yeah, we're going to have lots of stuff. The round table, yep, yeah. And we got to migrate all that stuff over. So we've got 4 months of content that we got to migrate over. So you're going to see an influx of videos coming your way initially, and after that first couple weeks, then it'll slow down and you'll see what kind of stuff is going to be coming. So
yeah. Pretty much.
Yep. So all right, anyways, that wraps up the Gaming Watch Weekly. We do this every week. Sundays at 6 p.m. Arizona time. We're doing it early this week for reasons.
Thanksgiving shopping.
Thanksgiving shopping.
Yeah.
We have discussed possibly changing the time, but for now it's 6 p.m. Arizona time, and we will discuss news for the week that's happened before Sunday, so that when you go into the week, you're all caught up. That's the main focus of what we do here. So, look forward to seeing you guys next week. And until then, take care. Bye-bye now. Static Buzz and Oz.
See you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
We're out. All right, let's do some outro music.
Yeah.
All right.